I just don't want to waste $25 on things that are not worth $25. $25 to me is a lot of money. Okay. It is one day of like lunch or one day of dinner to constantly spend $25 on items that don't really excite me. They don't thrill me. They don't really impact or give me that impact that I thought it was going to give. And then it's just adding to more clutter in the closet. So in no way, shape, or form is it even worth it. Final sale, you can't get your money back. I'm like, just stand by your product. But they know they don't have a good product. So in 2026, we're not doing any more impulse shopping. We're not doing any more fast shopping. Now, I'm not talking about fast fashion, child, because that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But this is probably $75 down the drain. That's like our whole month's budget. Are you kidding me? We're not doing that in 2026. It was the best of times. It was the worst of purchases. We are counting down deCollection's best and worst purchases of 2025. So let's get started. Cheers. Welcome to the channel, y'all. I'm Kima and this is deCollection. Okay, so this is the channel where we declutter with style, we restyle and remix old fits, we shop our closets, and when we do shop, we shop sensibly and we still look fly. I cannot believe we have gone a full circle around the sun, 365 days of deCollection. In January, when I started the channel, we set out to accomplish like 3 SMART goals. 1, not spending more than $100 every month on shopping. 2, decluttering at least 30% of our wardrobe. 3, building a 30-item capsule wardrobe. It was really hard for me to really try to pinpoint some of the worst purchases I made in 2025 because your girl was good. Okay, your girl was very disciplined. I really grew and learned and developed and matured so much in this past year in terms of just my fashion ideology, how I approach shopping, how I approach fabric, item, trend selection. And so I didn't really have a lot of regret purchases, which is good. And I don't know if that's something that over the years I've kind of progressed to. I don't know. We got to go back and try to revisit history. I ain't doing that. But I will say that I didn't really have a lot of bad purchases. And because I was sticking to $100 a month, I didn't have anything that really broke the bank. I spent a lot of money and I regret spending. So at least two of the items on this list were from the end of 2024, December purchases, like December 2024 purchases. So I'm going to count that towards this year because I didn't know that they were some of the worst purchases in 2024 because I didn't really use them until 2025. So let's just go with it, okay? Point is not the calendar or fiscal year. The point is the lesson that we've learned. I think I'm going to start with, we start with the best? We start with the worst. I think I'm going to start with the worst because these worst purchases actually helped me develop some of the best purchases. And I will explain how. So anyway, I'm going to just go with it. And then however I edit it, I'll figure it out. At the top of the year, when you guys first met me in January, February, March, I was bragging and boasting and raving about Vestiaire. Vestiaire is a resale platform where you can go on and buy high-end designer luxury items. They run the whole gamut of anything from Birkin to Kate Spade Coach. And then even your more obscure designer or obscure brands that are really good quality, but we just don't know about them. And the prices range. So when I found out about Vestiaire back in November 2024, I was excited. I was like, oh my God. Like, it's one of those things, and this is kind of what I do, which I don't do anymore, you know, because your girl is growing. The deCollection is helping. You know, you just get on this fix, but I actually kind of I did that with the thrift fix. But anyway, and so I purchased a lot of stuff between November 2024 to early spring 2025. I was just Vestiaire. Like, y'all need to send me to Paris because I need to go to the headquarters and just make my life easier, right? I was like buying a lot of stuff from them. So there are several things that I regret buying. Not because I bought it from them, but just because what I learned too, and I'll kind of get into this when I talk about some of the other items too. I hands down love the idea of the resale online marketplace. Great. I love ThredUp. I love Poshmark. And I think I like Vestiaire. The only problem that I have with Vestiaire is that I'm not in that market anymore. I'm not really spending a lot on like designer high-end stuff. You know, it just doesn't serve me anymore. So that's really my biggest problem with them. And also, I think they've added a lot of protections for the consumer, which I think is good, but then it ends up costing you more on, you know, the front and the back end, because everything has to be authenticated. And I think that's because there's a lot of scams. So even something that I'm buying that's like $30, I know it's not Gucci. It's just like a $30 like cute bag or something, but it's coming from like Australia. They got to authenticate it, which means you got to pay that authentication price, which is only $15. So it's not obviously a lot. It's not breaking the bank. It's not breaking the bank. And it's well worth it for any item that you're getting, because you want to make sure that you're getting good quality. But it adds to the prices, because on top of that, you got to pay the shipping, which is like at least $20. So a bag that I originally was going to pay $30 for, now you adding almost $50 in authentication and shipping fees. And like, why is this bag costing me $80 now? Like, where in the world does that ever make sense? It doesn't, right? So that's my biggest issue with Vestiaire. But on the flip side, as opposed to like getting something from Poshmark, which I've never really been burnt. I mean, I've gotten things that don't fit me well, but I've never been really burnt by like a dupe or a fraud or something, which I did, and they corrected it, and it worked out fine. So, but again, to that point, let's say you are buying something high-end designer, and with Poshmark, if it's under $500, it's not authenticated. And I don't believe you have an option to even pay if you wanted to get something authenticated. So like if I was buying a Gucci wallet for $250, there's no way for me to be able to authenticate it beforehand. You know, I just have to trust the seller and maybe go back and forth with Poshmark after, because they don't allow scams and fraud. So they might reimburse you your money. So anyway, long story short, Vestiaire is good and bad for those reasons. So without further ado, my number, am I going in, and these are not in any particular order, y'all, because like I'm not doing like best to worst, like, you know, it's incremental, it's getting worse and bad based on the numbers. I'm just giving you some of the worst unnecessary purchases that I made. Okay, so number 5, I would say, is this Vestiaire bag. Actually, you know what? Nope, I'm lying. This is by far the worst purchase. Okay, so this is the worst. So I'm gonna save this one for number 1. That's what I'm gonna do. Number 1. That's gonna be the worst purchase. Okay, so but let's start with number 5. So number 5 is the O bag. This was a flop for me. It did not land the way I wanted it to land. So one, it was described in the pictures. It looks exactly like the pictures and the description. I just pictured something different. Even though I saw what they had in the pictures, I was picturing something different. I kept saying I want like a fun summer tote. I want a fun summer tote. And so when I saw this bag was like a combination of, you know, those croc bags that everybody was carrying for summer, like the soccer mom bags. And then even I saw like the young girlies carrying it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like that. But like, it's kind of even cooler because nobody's carrying these bags. So I just thought that I was going to be like the toast of the town, because no one had ever seen or heard of the old bag as far as I know, right? I did like the yellow and the orange combination. I thought it was like just a fun summer pop that I would just wear with everything, with any color combination. Now, here's the problem. So I don't know if it looks the same to you as it did to me in the picture, but in the picture, I thought that this material right here was that like woven tote bag material, you know, that natural like basket woven material. It's not. It's felt. It's felt. So up close, it just looks like a kind of like Scandinavian sweater. I mean, I still like it, but it didn't give what I wanted it to bring. Okay. And so I didn't really use it as much as I thought. When I was buying it, I was like, well, you know what? If I don't like it, if I don't have any use for it, I can give it to Jordan. I felt like this was the cool, like, mom summer bag. You know, you're taking your kids to the pool, the beach, what have you, you're traveling. It just looked cool and chic. And she was like, no, thank you, Mom. That looks like an acorn. I'm like, lesson learned. Don't buy anything on a whim. Don't impulse shop on a whim, thinking like, well, if I don't like it, one of my kids are going to like it. No. Okay, waste of money, waste of time, waste of energy, all the things. One of the other things that I did like about this, I like the idea that you can interchange all of these things. It did come with another set of handles. It came with these black handles. You can swap those out. If you go on to the actual bag website, O-Bag, this is a Spanish company based in Spain. If you go onto their website, then you can purchase other things. You could change this out, a different color, all that stuff. Like if you were like into it, you know what I mean? Like if it was one of those like fad things where you're like, oh, I gotta get all the handles. I gotta get all the color handles. But that's never my vibe. That's never gonna be the energy that I'm on, where I'm just to get this, have to swap this out, have to get the latest like accessory to go with my bag. I'm just not that girl. So, and then I don't even think I actually wore it, because this is not gonna be a travel bag for me, because a travel bag is going to be a bag that I could wear every day with my outfit. So I'm going to travel with it in the airport. I could fit all my things, but then also I could wear it with different outfits. And that it just never gave that. And it's kind of heavy, I think, too. So like I wouldn't be like traveling in the airport with this, because everything that I put in there would just make it heavy. And I don't want that. That's just more problems for me. I think I used it to go to the pool one time, you know, to go right up to the rooftop pool. So, yeah, you know. And I have other tote bags that became more of my go-to than this bag, unfortunately. And the old bag was $53 plus, you know, I had to pay for the shipping. I don't remember if I had to pay authentication fees. But in the end, I probably ended up paying $80 for this bag, just so I wasn't carrying the crock bag like everybody else, when I could have just spent $30 to have that bag and not use it, just like I didn't use this bag. All right, let's see what else was not a good, because I'm saving you for last. I see you looking at me. You the worst, so you going last. Okay, so the next worst thing on the list, so I guess this is number 4, this Versace shirt that I got from Goodwill, or this Versace shirt that I got from Goodwill. Now, if you recall from the thrifting video that I posted a few weeks ago, where I found some designer and like really good quality clothes and items from Goodwill, this was not one of them. This was in the video, but this was not one of the designer, like high-end, high quality items that I found. But we went through the whole process and we authenticated it, and we figured out that it most likely, probably, unequivocally is not an authentic Versace. Obviously, I regret it for that reason, but also when I bought it, I kind of knew that it wasn't. But I thought that, you know, I'm like, it's like $10 or $6, whatever it was. It was at the Goodwill. So I thought it was worth it to take it home and, you know, go through the motions and try to figure it out. But I could have figured all of that stuff out in the Goodwill if I just spent maybe an extra 5 minutes. So yeah, big mistake. Because, you know, you can't really return, or, you know, you can't really return and get your money back. So now I'm like $6.95 in a hole. So the third worst purchase of 2025 was these Madewell shoes. So if you recall from November's planning video, we talked about these shoes. And I got these shoes for $5. $5 from Poshmark. And the only reason why I bought them was, one, they're animal print. They are genuine leather, calf hair, animal print shoes. So I was like, oh, that's really good quality, right? Like, you can't go wrong with that. And it's $5. And the second reason why I got it is because it's Madewell. And I'm very much interested in Madewell. It's going to be one of those places that I peruse in the coming year and see where our $100 budget, how far it can stretch in Madewell, and also looking at the quality of their clothes and yada, yada, yada. So I said, let's start with these $5 shoes from Poshmark. But the problem with purchases from Poshmark is that you can't try it on. You know, at least at the Goodwill, you could try it on. So while it was $5 plus, you know, you had to pay the shipping and whatever, I think it came up to about $10. It just wasn't worth it because this is a 9.5, but they don't fit. Okay, they're too exact. Not even exact, they're just tight. They fit more like a 8.5 maybe. That's one of the challenges with purchasing on Poshmark, obviously, or any kind of online resale platform, because you can't return it, you can't exchange it. You can obviously then just reposh it, but now you're probably going to get less money than you spent because you know how that works, the commission and yada, yada, yada. Or it just won't even sell. But I have purchased 8 pairs of shoes and boots from Poshmark over the years. And of the 8, only 3 have worked out for me. So that's not a good average for me to purchase shoes and boots from Poshmark. So in 2026, I'm going to have to strongly think. I have to think this over like the second time, third time, really consider if I'm going to make any more shoe purchases from Poshmark. It's just not worth it. That's money going down the drain. Some of the things I'm, you know, able to give away, gift it to a friend or a family member. Like, I'm happy to do that. That actually makes me feel better because I'm like, oh, well, that's even better. You know, I'm giving them something. Sometimes I'll just end up reselling it. But again, that's just money that's just going down the drain. And in 2026, we don't have a dime to spare. Okay. So number 3, worst purchase for 2026. Number 4. So number 4 is a collection. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have a collection of 3 summer maxi dresses. These maxi dresses are at best just okay. This one from H&M, the strings broke off. And this was, now here's the thing. Here's the gag about all of these. I bought all of these dresses on clearance. So it was like the end of the season sale. And this dress is fine. It's just fine though. It's not like great. Now, the catch with these dresses are these 2 I didn't try on. So I didn't try this green one on. It fits well, so that's not an issue. And the Zara dress, I didn't get a chance to try that on because remember, we had the grandchildren and they were like ready to go. So I was just like, whatever, I'm sure it's going to fit. And it does fit, but it's just okay. And I didn't spend a lot on these dresses. I don't think I spent more than like $20 to $25 on each dress. So that's not the issue. But the issue is, so when I think about the quality and the excitement of these purchases, these recent purchases that I've gotten from like Goodwill and these other thrift stores compared to what I'm able to get currently at H&M and Zara and some of these other stores, they just don't compare. And so it just makes me have to reconsider not necessarily shopping at these stores, but just being a lot more intentional. So one, I can't just go into a store if I only have 30 minutes to shop, if I have other people with me and we have to go, they're rushing. And so the first thing I see is, oh, okay, great, it's on sale. Boom, here's my size. I know it's going to fit. Because then I take it home and it's not that great. Okay. And $25, when I was at the thrift store the other day at 2W, $25 could get you some really good vintage leather. So I just don't want to waste $25 on things that are not worth $25. $25 to me is a lot of money. Okay. It is one day of like lunch or one day of dinner. It's a big deal to constantly spend $25 on items that don't really excite me. They don't thrill me. They don't really impact or give me that impact that I thought it was going to give. And then it's just adding to more clutter in the closet. So in no way, shape, or form is it even worth it, right? It's not worth the money. It's not worth the time. And quite frankly, it's not worth the wear. Like even this dress from H&M, which this one was really, really cheap. This was like final sale, which I hate that they do the final sale. You can't get your money back. I'm like, just stand by your product. But they know they don't have a good product sometimes. I wore this dress one time. Like I said, it was final sale. I did try it on. It fit well. I thought it was cute enough to just, you know, knock around. It's just a little summer paisley prairie style dress. But after one wear, one of the straps came off. So I have to sew it. Like, who has time for that? Yeah, no, I got that leather skirt from my mom. I got to sew. Now that's some real genuine high quality stuff. Not this H&M rag. Okay. So in 2026, we're not doing any more impulse shopping. We're not doing any more fast shopping. Now I'm not talking about fast fashion, child, because that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But we're not going to go into a store and just pick out things because we don't have a lot of time. We're with people and we want to shop and we want to buy stuff. No. Ultimately, it's going to be a waste. So we're talking, this is probably $75 down the drain. That's like our whole month's budget. Are you kidding me? We're not doing that in 2026. And number one, the single worst purchase of 2025. So I bought this Marni bag from Vestiaire. So I told you guys, I did the whole spiel about Vestiaire and why I like Vestiaire, whatever. But child, why I don't like Vestiaire is because of this bag. I have been looking at several Marni bags on Vestiaire and I love them. A lot of them were crochet. They were like the summer tote bags. They weren't very expensive, but they were probably like in the $300-400 range. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, you know, I do love a nice canvas tote bag for this spring and summer. I was like, oh, this could be a cute play on summer canvas tote bag because it was described as being vegan leather. So I was like, wow, it looks like a canvas tote, but it's actually leather. How cool is that? No, y'all. This bag, I think maybe the straps are vegan leather, but the bag itself, it feels like a paper bag. No kidding. Now, the only reason why it looks this good is because I have it stuffed with my scarves. It's kind of where I'm storing scarves now and give it some shape. But because this bag is literally a paper bag, I think, how much did I pay for this bag? Oh, dang it. I want to say, I know I paid a little bit over 100, anywhere between 100 and 200. You see how reckless that is? I don't even know how much I paid, but very flimsy and very foolish. So this was the worst purchase of 2024, but 2025, because we didn't even wear it. We didn't even wear it. So I'm not even sure. I might try it one of these days. I think now I'll probably wait for spring again to roll around. But yeah, this was a waste of time. So if you see this bag, not Marni, I can't tell you about any other because I don't have any other Marni bags, but this particular bag, if you see this bag anywhere, don't get it unless you basically want to buy a $200 paper bag, brown paper bag, because that's what it is. I have one more bonus worst purchase of 2025. These so-called space-saving closet hooks. Ciao. So just look up for my deCollection, fully decluttered, fully reorganized closet reveal, because that's one of the SMART goals for 2025. So I'm finally revealing it. It literally took me a whole year to put this closet together. Anyway, so this is one of the closet organization tools, hacks that I purchased, and I don't like them. I don't like it. It was a waste of time. I got rid of all of them. So check out that video so you can see why I didn't like it. And some of these other so-called space-saving tools that really don't do anything but create more chaos and more headaches in your closet. Okay, so back to the list. So let's look at the best purchases of 2025. And I think that these are kind of in order, but not really. Okay, so starting from number 5 all the way to the best, number 1. So number 5 is this vintage red genuine leather purse that I got from Goodwill. This bag, I believe it was $9. And when I looked it up, did the Google lens search, so this is made by a vintage designer, Paloma Picasso. And yes, relations to the Pablo Picasso. So she is the daughter of the late Pablo Picasso. In the 70s and 80s, she was a jewelry designer for YSL, and in the 80s for Tiffany. And she designed some of her own jewelry, obviously some bags and some clothes. I didn't know all of that, of course, when I purchased it. I just looked it up to see like what the legitimacy of it is. It said it was Paloma Picasso, and I was like, okay. It didn't really register to me that it could be Pablo Picasso's people, but then later on when I looked it up, I was like, oh, okay, so she is somebody. I just knew that it was vintage. It was from the 80s, no, I think it's from the 70s, whatever it's from. And it was genuine leather. That's all I was concerned with, okay? Because I didn't get a lot of information in here. Like, there's no signage. It just has, I guess, her logo. And inside it does say genuine leather made in Italy. So anyway, this was one of the best purchases of 2025 because, as you can see, it's cute and chic. And she goes with everything. She's just like a great cute pop of color. I can fit my iPhone 15 Pro Max Plus in here. I can fit that with my keys and then probably like, you know, a lip gloss or something like that. Just, you know, the 3 essentials. That's all you need. I don't even need a wallet or anything anymore. Love this purse. Wore it so many times throughout the summer and definitely will wear it in the winter and fall because she's cute. So that was number 5. Number 4, again, one of my Vestiaire purchases from the end of 2024 was this Gucci monogram messenger bag. And when I bought this bag, it was $200 resale. It probably originally sold for like $1,500 or more. So obviously that was a good find. And it was authenticated because, you know, like I said, Vestiaire, they don't play. They authenticate everything because even if it's not even just a question of whether it's authentic Gucci, it's the question of whether it's authentic whatever they say it's going to be. Even if it's not a designer brand, like sometimes people will give you trash. So anyway, the bag came and the bag was everything that I thought it would be, plus more, because I actually bought this bag because I was like, oh, this would be a cute, just kind of knocking around regular stroll. I thought it was going to be small. Like, I thought it was going to be about this size. I don't know why I didn't really look at the measurements, but I didn't really care because I was like, oh, I just want a small crossbody bag just to run errands. That was it. And when it came, it was huge. I was like, oh, I don't know. This is kind of bigger than I expected, but it turns out to be just a really good asset. This is one of those bags that you could really lose some stuff in because it has a lot of compartments. Of course, it's a messenger bag, so of course, you know, you're supposed to be a courier. You're supposed to have all your things in there. It has like 5 different compartments, and I could fit a lot of stuff. I could even sneak in our snacks to the movies, like drinks, snacks, everything in this bag. So I love her. She was definitely a good investment. Love, love, love this bag. And because it's bronze, so it gives you that metallic vibe, but it goes with everything. Gold, silver, everything. It's just a perfect neutral, perfect everyday bag. Love her. I'm not saying I'm done with Vestiaire. I'm just saying that I'm good because I don't really know if I'm in the market for designer brands. I'm not saying I'm never going to be in the market again. I'm just saying like, that's just not the time that I'm on these days. So, but I do accept gifts. I still accept gifts. Okay, I'm just not going to be purchasing them myself anymore. Okay, so we're up to 5, 4, 3. Number 3 are my jellies. Oh my goodness. So if you recall, back in April, I purchased these jellies from a random website that I found. I don't even know how I found the website, just doing a search. Wasn't even sure if I was going to trust. I think it's called Fashion Junkie. And they were about $25, $30. And when I tell you these, a time was had with these shoes. Okay, these little jellies went everywhere. Okay, they've traveled internationally, domestically, locally, internally. No, they didn't go inside me. But I wore these jellies everywhere. And I wore them so much, you would be surprised that I didn't even wear them out. Okay, so next spring and summer, you know, she's still in a rotation. This was definitely a good investment. They wore well. They were comfortable. Not only did, like I said, they wore well, like there's no tearage. There's nothing. There's no damage to these jellies. Oh, you see the sand? Look at the sand coming out of it. Oh, wow. And it's still going. Okay. Not much wear and tear to these. And I'm telling you, I wore them everywhere. So this was a good investment for $25. So compared to, like I said, those maxi dresses for $25, like, come on now. I'm not wasting my time or my money. All right. So that was number 3. Number 2 and 1 are really kind of a tie. So don't get offended, guys. Okay, because I love you guys equally. But I think I'm just the one that I've kind of been wearing more. So I'm gonna leave you for number one. But I love y'all equal because you know mamas don't have favorites. Okay, so number two best purchase of 2025 are these black trousers. Remember these Old Navy trousers? If you recall from the trouser video that came out, when was that? That was back in September, I believe. So I literally searched high and low. I went to Nordstrom. I tried on like, I don't know, $400, $500 pair of trousers. And then I went as low as to like Goodwill, okay, and got like, you know, $6 pair of trousers. So, and we found that, you know, in the end, you don't really got to spend $400 to find a really good pair of trousers. Now, you can get a really good pair of trousers for $400, but you don't got to spend $400 to get a really good pair of trousers. And these Old Navy trousers prove that, okay? And I've just been wearing her so much, and I don't think I've worn her out quite yet. This is the high rise pixie wide leg in tall. So I don't know if it's still available online. When I edit this video, I'll put it up there so you can see if it is. They didn't have it in the store. At least they didn't have it in the store that I went to. They had a lot of pixies, but they didn't have this particular one. So, you know, sometimes they carry different things online versus in the store. I don't know. But if you can find them, they are well worth the money. And I believe it was under 50 bucks. I think it was like 40 bucks for these. So love them. This was a smart purchase. This is one of my, you know, we shop sensible and we still look fly purchases. Number one, the best purchase of 2025 is these Express jeans that I got on sale for $26. Okay, so these are a medium wash, wide leg, and they're kind of fitted. I said I didn't want something too baggy. So these are just like the right kind of fit, right? But they're not too wide leg. So moving forward, I'm probably going to get something that has a little bit more volume at the bottom. But all in all, these were the best purchases. This was the best purchase of 2025 because if you recall, just like with the black trousers, I went everywhere. I went to Zara, went to Gap. Where else did I go? I think I went to J. Crew Factory. Like I went to Zara, I went to Gap. I went to a lot of stores. Finally ended up with these Express jeans from Express Factory, and they were on sale. So it turns out that that's all I needed. I needed a good sale and a good fit. And so the lesson learned, I think, compared to like the maxi dresses that I just kind of bought on an impulse. I saw them, didn't have a lot of time. I wasn't in the market for a maxi dress. And I just bought it, as opposed to the trousers and the jeans where that was my goal. I set out to find the perfect pair of jeans. I set out to find the perfect pair of trousers. And I was very intentional. I researched. I went to the stores. I felt the fabric. I made sure everything fit. I danced around and everything. I looked at things online. I even purchased some things online. It's just like when I was looking for the perfect wedding guest dress. I tried a lot of different places. I went to the stores. I got some online options. So in the end, I ended up with items that really served me, really suit me, and they were well worth the money that I spent. And I got a deal on these items. So what I learned this year through this deCollection journey is that you're going to have to do some work. You got to hit the pavement sometimes. Okay. Not every time, but sometimes. And it's worth it when you do. But also when you go out to the stores, you want to make sure that, again, you're not just buying the first thing you see. You try it on. And, you know, we're applying cost per wear. So thinking about all the different ways that you're going to wear on the spot. And one of the things that I didn't do with the maxi dresses was that I didn't really consider, like, okay, what kind of bra? Like, I was like, oh, don't worry about it. I can figure out a bra. And I have like an invisible this. Like, no, you have to know for sure. And so I didn't do that. And we're not doing that in 2026. We're not doing that. So this was the best year. This was probably like the best shopping year that I've ever had since my very first shopping year on memory. So the very first shopping year, if I can recall, was when I was 15 years old. And I had my quinceañera and I got all this money, right? I don't remember what it was, but I probably got like, you know, into the thousands. And I had just broken up with my first boyfriend. So I was really sad. I was really depressed. I don't even know if my parents knew that I was so like heartbroken. That was the first and last time that I ever got my heart broken. Never really happened again. Now I'm not listening. You know, they do some things, but like to that level where I was like really crushed. You know, where it's like, nobody doesn't want me. You don't want me. I thought you loved me. And the only thing that cured me was shopping. I don't know what it was. I think like shopping kind of made you feel like, oh, you can look fly. Forget about him. You can buy all these clothes and still be that girl. And so I was just binge shopping, spending all my money. I remember I went to the Coliseum, and I had never really even gone there because I lived in Brooklyn and the Coliseum is in Queens. Like, but somehow I discovered it. I don't know who took me there. I went there and I just kept going back by myself, right? Because you could get a lot of like clothes for cheap. And I was hitting up 34th Street, going to the Gap, going to the Macy's. I've always been a Macy's girl. And then after that year, and then the craziest thing is like my birthday was in October, November, and December, I was still getting more money because people were like, oh, I missed your party. Oh, your quinceañera. And I was getting more checks, $100. And I was going to Delancey, getting leather jackets. And then the following year, I got my first job. And that was all she wrote. Every time I got paid, I was downtown Brooklyn, going to that Macy's, getting Ralph Lauren, any and everything. Okay, the very first expensive like piece of clothing that I remember purchasing was a DKNY shirt. And that was like $150. So I said all that to say that this year, with me sticking to this $100 a month budget, and sometimes I think I had 2 or 3 months of hiccups where I went over. We explained that, we talked about that, we moved past that, we learned our lesson. And then, but a lot of the other months, I was way below the budget. So I learned a lot, not only about shopping sensibly and, you know, really taking the time to find really good quality fabric, but I learned a lot about myself and what I don't really need and why I was thinking I needed all these things. So I'm just so thankful that you guys took the time to just follow me on this journey. And I hope that you learned something. I hope that I've given you something. I hope that I entertained you. I hope that, you know, we've learned a lot about shopping sensibly. And I can't wait to go into 2026 because I have so many ideas. And I'm not going to say we're not doing less shopping. We are just going to be so much smarter about our shopping. And I really want to explore like new brands that I've never considered. Like I said before, like, you know, the Madewell, the Uniqlo, just brands that I hadn't even really considered, or even like challenging myself to like spend $100 at Anthropologie. Like, what we gonna buy there? But we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure out all the things. So again, thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. It has really helped me. And so like, you guys can't imagine, like this channel has helped me. It really has given me an outlet that I didn't even know I needed, you know, and I have really dedicated. At first I was like, okay, how am I going to carve out time to do all of this? And now I'm trying to, you know, I had to figure out how I was going to build this around my life. And now everything, I'm having to like, everything else is being built around this because this is so important to me. And, you know, I don't have a lot of subscribers and, you know, I don't know if I ever will, but I know that I really, really enjoy it. This is one of those things. This is, I don't know if it's a hobby or whatever it is, but it's a passion. I love doing this. So above and beyond all the things that we learned about shopping sensibly, decluttering with style, all of those things, I also want us to take away from this that it is really important to pursue your passions, to have an outlet, because through that, you are just going to grow exponentially in so many other ways. So thank you guys for being a part of this journey with me. As usual, thank you for sticking to the end of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.